The Cultural Revolution was a movement led by Mao Zedong to break down pre-modern culture and capitalism and practice socialism. Traditional Chinese Confucian culture collapsed and a mass movement spread, emphasizing class struggle. Mao Zedong was driven into a political crisis due to the failure of the Great Leap Forward in the late 1950s. Mao Zedong decided to restore his political position within the Chinese Communist Party and eliminate opponents through the Cultural Revolution. The Cultural Revolution was used to eliminate opposition, and this revolution developed into a power struggle by the Communist Party. At that time, China, an agricultural country, carried out excessive heavy industry policies, resulting in tens of millions of people starving to death. There was even cannibalism in which starving people ate human flesh due to lack of food. There was even a saying that anything with 4 legs would be eaten except for chair.
This led to the failure of the national economy, which forced Mao Zedong to resign as state president. After the failure of the Great Leap Forward movement, a strong line of conflict emerged within the Chinese Communist Party over socialist construction.
Mao Zedong, who was the supreme leader, insisted on a policy centered on the masses achieving revolutionary tasks by raising public political consciousness. However, pragmatists such as Liu Shaoqi and Deng Xiaoping insisted on prioritizing industry and experts in each field.
As the capitalist policies adopted by some to restore the collapsed public economy came to fruition, Liu Shaoqi and Deng Xiaoping began to emerge as new powerful figures. Sensing a crisis of power, Mao Zedong called for the overthrow of bourgeois forces and of capitalism, arguing that the youth should step up for this.
At the Central Committee plenary session in September 1962, Mao Zedong began attacking the opposition by emphasizing class struggle and criticizing revisionism. The Red Guards, composed of youths, were organized in various parts of the country and swept across the country according to Mao Zedong's instructions, causing China to fall into a rigid society at once.
All forces opposed to Mao Zedong were overthrown or purged, and after the death of Mao Zedong, the Chinese Communist Party officially evaluated the Cultural Revolution as an ultra-left error, and the madness of the Cultural Revolution quickly dissipated. Beginning of the Cultural Revolution. In 1965, Yeo Wen-yuan, secretary of the Shanghai Municipal Party Committee, criticized the historical drama Heads of Pavilion, written by Wu Han, vice mayor of Beijing. The drama was criticized for defending Peng Dehuai, the Minister of National Defense, who was dismissed for criticizing Mao Zedong's Great Leap Forward. With this opportunity, the Beijing Municipal Party Committee and the Three Family Village Group, which were the basis of the real power faction, became the targets of intensive criticism from Mao Zedong's followers. In the end, in April 1966, Beijing Mayor Peng Zhen was dismissed, and on August 8th, at the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, Mao Zedong announced the 16 Articles of Decision on the Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution, and the Cultural Revolution began in earnest. Development of the Cultural Revolution. In August 1966, a million-person rally was held in Tiananmen Square, and the Red Guards, who had gathered there, advanced into major cities across the country. So, large-scale demonstrations were held to praise Mao Zedong's death and clean up the old culture. Schools were closed and all traditional values and bourgeois things were attacked. Mao also openly criticized the party's bureaucrats and seized the power held by real power factions in various parts of the country by force. However, when the real power factions stubbornly resisted and infighting broke out in the Red Guards, Mao Zedong ordered the People's Liberation Army under Lin Biao to fully intervene in the Cultural Revolution in January 1967. The People's Liberation Army not only took over schools, factories, and government agencies in various places, but also expelled millions of Red Guards who led the Cultural Revolution deep into the mountains. In September 1968, the political situation, which had repeatedly been in confusion, entered the coming phase with the establishment of the revolutionary committees by a three-party combination of People's Army representatives, Red Guards representatives, and party cadres in various parts of the country. The Cultural Revolution culminated in the establishment of Mao Zedong's absolute authority at the 9th National People's Congress in April 1969, and the appointment of Minister of Defense Lin Biao as his successor. However, in 1971, Lin Biao was mysteriously killed in a plane crash, and many military leaders who had been loyal to Mao Zedong were purged. Then, many people began to suspect that the Cultural Revolution might have originated from Mao Zedong's personal desire for power. After Deng Xiaoping returned to power in 1973 on the recommendation of Zhou Enlai, the spirit of the Cultural Revolution began to be attacked from many sides. Those who supported Mao Zedong emphasized the ideology, class struggle, egalitarianism, and anti-foreignism, while those who supported Zhou Enlai and Deng Xiaoping insisted on economic growth, educational reform, and pragmatic diplomatic lines. In his later years, Mao Zedong sought a successor who compromised with the two lines but failed. In the end, the Cultural Revolution was effectively ended in September 1976, when Mao Zedong died and the Gang of Four, Mao Zedong's followers, were ousted by Hua Guofeng. Officially, the end was declared at the 11th National People's Congress in August 1977. evaluation of the Cultural Revolution.
The Cultural Revolution was once acclaimed as a great experiment in human history that called for the equality of all peoples and the destruction of organizations, but it ended in failure.
As a result of this movement, about 3 million party members were purged, the economy was devastated, and chaos and corruption were rampant.
In June 1981, the Communist Party of China, in its Party Resolution on Historical Issues since the founding of the state, stated that the Cultural Revolution brought the most severe setbacks and losses to the party, state, and people.
The Cultural Revolution was defined as Mao Zedong's far-left error and his responsibility. Thank you for watching the video, The Cultural Revolution, provided by History and Current Events. I'm Rebecca. Mia, Katie, Leah, and Tony have contributed so far as narrators. Thank you.